Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mike. I think hopefully everybody knows who I am. If not, you're probably in the wrong building. But John Strudwick, the head of school, and in my 16th year now at Lake Forest Academy, and 16 very proud years. Thank you. I'm delighted to welcome all of you, our Lake Forest Academy Ferry Hall alumni, to this celebration and honorees for the reunion weekend. Tonight we have come together to honour some special members of the school's family, but I think even more so we're here to honour and celebrate our schools, Ferry Hall and Lake Forest Academy. For those of you who attended LFA on this campus, most of you, you returned to a school to see much has changed. Our Ferry Hall alumni return obviously to a completely different campus than where you went to school, but I hope that you will recognise signs of the great success that the modern LFA, full school, balanced budget, quality faculty, improved facilities, and a comprehensive master plan to update and upgrade our school. And I hope you recognise what that means for the histories of of Ferry Hall and for Lake Forest Academy. And I hope that everyone has great pride in your alma mater. As Mike said, I think we've come a long way, and I continue to be incredibly proud whenever I address the alumni of the schools, and certainly when I go around the country to meet with you all. And now, before celebrating and moving on to the celebration of the Woman of Distinction and the Hall of Fame honorees, I also would like to just give a special shout out to all of our alumni volunteers who have worked for months to contact classmates and encourage you, beg you, bribe you to come back for this celebration. And I know Dean Conrad sort of certainly fits into that category. Thank you so much for all of your great work in bringing people back. And now on to the business of the celebration and honorees. Our 2016 Woman of Distinction and Hall of Fame recipients. The Woman of Distinction Award was established by Lake Forest Academy in 2004 in collaboration with the Ferry Hall Task Force. It is awarded to a Ferry Hall or LFA alumna who has achieved distinction in volunteer or professional pursuits and who serves as a role model for Lake Forest Academy's entire student community. Tonight, I'm delighted and proud that we can honour the work and contributions to society of Catherine Klein Hamilton, a 1965 graduate of Ferry Hall. Catherine. I'll read her citation. An ardent philanthropist, goodwill ambassador, and passionate Francophile, you have earned respect and admiration for your tireless efforts in preserving the art and culture of France. Through the establishment of the American Friends of Versailles, you have raised awareness of and support for the restoration of the gardens and grounds at the Palace of Versailles, ensuring the beauty and history of this quintessential French landmark for generations to come. Guided by a solid spirit of internationalism and a desire to give back, you have used your gift for bringing people together to champion a cause close to your heart. At the same time, you have made a lasting contribution to French society and culture. You're an exceptional individual and an exemplary alumna of Ferry Hall. We respect your commitment to hard work and the preservation of beauty. We applaud your industriousness and perseverance, and we commend you for strengthening the ties between the United States and France. Félicitations on your past accomplishments and bonne chance on your future endeavours. I'm proud to award the Woman of Distinction Award to Catherine Klein Hamilton.
Well, many who know me know, goodness gracious, know that I can speak about any other subject but myself normally. But tonight I was told I had to be scripted. I usually speak off the cuff. And I'm very honored that my beautiful daughter, Elizabeth Hamilton, and my new son-in-law of a year and a half, Christopher Deutsch and Elizabeth Hamilton Deutsch are here. I'm very honored that Monica Betts, who, was Henry Betts' wife, and they did an extraordinary job in building the Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago. And I can't say enough about Maureen and E.B. Smith, and they have been so dear to my heart. I'm looking out, seeing if I can see them. Kristen Smith, who's Maureen and I mean, they have one of the best stained glass collections at Navy Pier. You've got to go see it. It's amazing. But and then I go to Nancy Nadler. And Monica, Nancy, and I, and Maureen, well, we did the, Centennial Ball at the Art Institute. We've all done philanthropy together and loved it. And I had the great pleasure of serving with Don Ratner when I served on the board of the Terra Museum of Chicago. And we moved from being a museum to the largest foundation for American art. And we are now taking American art around the world, and we're bigger than the Luce Foundation, and I served for 9 years on the board. It was the only board I have ever served on I didn't have to raise money for, and that was fabulous. Okay, now I've got to get back to my script. And Johnny Johnson is here someplace, and he has a reserved seat. Right down there you're supposed to be, honey child. Anyway, I'm from Texas, and when I came to Ferry Hall, there were 7 of us. I went to Hockaday, and you're going to find my speech getting very serious quickly. But there were 7 of us. I went to Hockaday for 2 years in Dallas, a Hockadaisy. And then I came to Ferry Hall, and I don't know what we called ourselves. And, it was a revelation to me because you had trees, beautiful trees. The winters were cold. The snow was Baskin Robbins, Marshall Field. I mean, I loved it. And going downtown to Trader Vic's, which we were not supposed to do. And of course, visiting the Art Institute and seeing Mrs. Potter Palmer's fabulous paintings just enlightened and moved my life. And Ferry Hall was a great experience for me. And the 7 of us who came from Texas. And we had wonderful teachers, and we learned a lot. And prep school prepares you for so much. And I have to tell you, now gets the serious part. If I've forgotten anybody, please excuse me. But first I want to thank all of those who have been so kind to grant me this award. I'm very touched, and I'm sure there are many more people deserving in the audience. But I had the great pleasure to meet many of the the students, 500 actually, night before last. And was it night before last? God, I'm so jet lagged. But anyway, I was so impressed by the youth. And the youth are what are going to follow us. And I think they're wonderful. I think Ferry Hall has done a great job, and Lake Forest Academy. And I'm so glad to have had the privilege for graduating from this school. I went on to school in New York, been married to the same man forever. And he couldn't come because he's in France, and I go back tomorrow to France. But France is, I have been international. I mean, I don't know, you live nowhere and everywhere, who knows? But anyway, now the serious part of my speech comes in. It is serious. And I think I'd like to quote JFK. And in his inauguration speech, I never speak off papers. Do you like these yellow pad stuff? Oh my gosh, I just wrote it outside because I speak off the cuff. Okay, Americans, ask not what you can do for your country. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. And the future is optimistic with our youth. Forgive your enemies, but never forget their names. And this leads right into my prep school experience. And maybe, I mean, Ruth said to talk about something that had totally impacted my life. And that is when I was at Hockaday in 1962, from October the 14th until October the 28th, 90 miles off the shore in Cuba, the Soviet Union had ballistic missiles deployed to Cuba pointing to our shores. And this is where the prep school comes in. It relates to my high school years. At Hockaday, we were taught to hide under the desk, organize in the gymnasium. I mean, everybody was frightened as could be. And our parents were calling all the time. We probably had a phone booth there too. But we certainly didn't have what all the kids do today. And it lasted for 14 days. And we were terrified. The kids were terrified, our parents were calling us, but our teachers were preparing us for the future, and they took care of us. The Board of Trustees took care of us. They were very helpful for all of the students there. And it ended, of course, with Khrushchev and Kennedy coming to a ceasefire, and in exchange, they removed all of our missiles. They removed their missiles from Cuba, and we had to move our missiles from Turkey. And but the Cold War continued. But I felt very cared for by our teachers. I mean, they were so concerned about us, and that's where it leads to Ferry Hall. Because Ruth asked me to tell you probably what was one of my most poignant experiences at Ferry Hall, and that was, what was that? Sorry, I don't write usually out, but there are certain parallels. And at Ferry Hall, on November 22nd, JFK was killed in Dallas, Texas, where I'd gone to boarding school before. I felt the same love of all the teachers and all the faculty, the teachers, they took care of us again. They made us feel secure. They taught us we could be leaders of the future. They taught us how to think. And it was preparatory school, and it made us prepared, and they gave us security. And we have the same security today in our youth. And I felt it very much when I had the great privilege of talking to the student body here, because they're great. You heard them sing tonight. I bet they sing a little bit more frivolously without us. But anyway, I had the great privilege, this afternoon. I mean, we got together. Did we ever get together? We're staying in some, I don't know where we're staying, but like a Marriott or a garden center. But anyway, a lot of the people, we got together with my fellow alumni, and we laughed. We looked at, what do you call those books? Annuals. And yearbooks, and I mean, everybody wrote the craziest things, and it was so much fun to hear how they had pursued their lives and their passions, and I think they'll continue to, we all realize that our time is limited on this earth, and we have to live by passion, and to appreciate passion, and open another window or door to open for our next passion. And if we, who are a bit older in this room, unfortunately qualify, we have the next challenges of life, and life continues, and we have so much optimism to go on. And our country is a great country. We are so privileged to live in the United States of America and have the opportunity to, freedom of speech, for goodness sakes. I mean, whatever you believe, right or left wing, it doesn't make any difference. It just is that you believe passionately and try your hardest, and to work in philanthropy. And we have a great esprit de corps. state of Chicago, I mean in the state of Illinois, but certainly in Chicago, and all my friends that are here tonight for me. Terry, it's fabulous because I love you all, and I don't know what else this says, but I can't read it. Well, anyway, I love my prep school. Prep school prepares you for life, and I'm still preparing for life, the next chapter. And I just am so honored to be here tonight, and I hope you're going to have a lot of fun and a lot of laughter. Let's be gay while we may and mix our love with laughter. I'll be true as long as you and forever after. Honor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all guys are not my thing. My cute son-in-law, isn't he cool?
I think that's good. Excellent. Thank you, Catherine. And I fixed the microphone as well, so we're good. Now we move on to our Hall of Fame recognitions. The Hall of Fame was founded in 1980 by the Alumni Association to honor those individuals who have earned distinction in one of three categories: achievement, service to society, service to the school, and achievement in athletics. The inductions continued until 1996, when they were discontinued for a time. And then the Alumni Council and the Ferry Hall Advisory Board encouraged their reinstatement in 2006 as part of our annual reunion weekend celebrations. And this year we also added an achievement in the arts as an added criterion. We'll have a recipient of that as our second. And tonight we're honouring two individuals, one a past parent and a long-serving trustee and life trustee, and one alumnus. First recipient is Ned Jessen, past parent and trustee of the school. Ned Jessen. For service to the school, I'll read the citation. Long-time trustee, life trustee, alumni parent, and leadership supporter of the Academy, you're a model friend of the school. Always meticulous, ever conscientious, you have helped guide the Academy during one of the most important eras in its history. From your distinguished service as chair of the Finance Committee to your persistent pledge to preserve the long-term financial health and sustainability of the school, your efforts have yielded tremendous results. The Academy is stronger than ever. Throughout your terms of service, you have fostered a culture of inclusion and collaboration among your colleagues, while delighting everyone with your quick and dry wit. We thank you for your vision, wisdom, advice, and perspective as we move the Academy always forward. And we are ever grateful for the passion and enthusiasm you bring to all things LFA. Very proud to give Hall of Fame to Ned Jessen.
Lynn, Steve, how's my hair? Thank you, Mike and John and all of you. When you're a North Shore Country Day School alum like I am, you need to stack the audience for moral support and protection. So I'd like to thank my family members here tonight who represent about 5% of the audience, including the older two of my three children who both went to LFA, Margaret and Parlin, classes of 2001 and 2005. Our third child, Paula, lives on the East Coast, and she is also here in spirit. And now for my history with LFA. I gotta tell you, things started out very, very badly between LFA and me. Yes, me, not I. Quick tangent. Many people would say very badly between LFA and I. In one of those great New Yorker cartoons, there's two people, one of them says to the other with a look of dejection on his face, "You have no idea what it's like to be a just between you and me person in a just between you and I world. Overuse of the word I. People think it sounds more educated, but it's the opposite. And it's easy to get it right, even if you're not into grammar. Your ear will tell you if you drop the other person like this. The teacher will meet with I. No. Or the teacher will meet with me. Yes, of course. And then you know it's the teacher will meet with my friend and me, not the teacher will meet with my friend and I. And one other guide, not quite as reliable, but toward the beginning of a sentence it's usually I, and toward the end of a sentence it's usually me. Let's get this right and set a good example for our children. Okay, back to history. 3 terrible events in my life with Lake Forest Academy. I hope now is the perfect time to be very negative and very open with all of you. It all started in the summer of 1963 when I was 8 years old, just a little boy attending LFA's summer day camp. In the camp car that picked us up at home in Glenview and took us to camp in Lake Forest, I was always stuck in the 4th row of seats, back where the camp driver couldn't see a thing. And since I was one of the little kids, the other kids poked me, gave me noogies, teased me, you name it. Now everybody know what a noogie is? It's a form of punishment used to assert dominance in a social structure, usually given when a lower person does or says something annoying. It consists of rubbing the knuckles hard against the skull to cause moderate pain. Usually the head is held stable with the weaker arm, and the noogie is given by the stronger arm. But this was behavior that could be bought off and changed through bazooka bubble gum. So my mother kept me supplied with gum to tame those beasts. The system worked well and gave me an early lesson in the value of having money around for unforeseen events. Endowment. All together now. Endowment. Endowment. Louder. Endowment. Okay, thank you. And then there was the bed of pain at this same LFA camp at the same time. When a camper achieves certain goals in different activities like riflery, archery, swimming, and others, we received awards, but had to go through an initiation, which was called the bed of pain. The bed was made of a pile of rocks, sticks, prickly thorns, weeds, which you had to lay down on, and then the counselors pushed down on you to get the stuff to dig into your bare skin, shirtless back. Can you imagine with campers? This taught me to endure pain and ride things out like stock market declines and bear markets. And then in the fall of 1972, just 44 years ago, right on this campus, on the opening kickoff of the varsity football game between LFA and North Shore, one of the LFA players hit me with a very cheap, dirty, personal foul, which the refs missed. And this taught me life's not fair. And after all that, can you believe it? My wife and I decided in 1996, 24 years after this last tragic event, to send our first child to LFA. 3 years later, in 1999, I joined the board at the urging of my 16-year-old daughter, LFA student, my wife, and my mother-in-law, which was great because I figured the job would take too much time, money, donations, and so I otherwise wouldn't have taken the job, which would have been a terrible loss for me. Unintentionally, I'm sure, LFA had hit me with a bait and switch and a deal creep because they had told me up front the job would require little time and little money. And I've been here ever since because I love the school and the people I work with, spending a lot of time in the middle of LFA's money. The headlines of some of my favorite LFA experiences are my daughter's 2 back-to-back cross-checking penalties within 5 seconds of each other. John Strudwick's arrival in 2001, that was fantastic. My occasional late-night emails and phone conversations with Strudwick. My son's overtime comeback victory on the football field in 2004 as quarterback. tripling the size of the endowment, and of course the great faculty, students, staff, and trustees. So in closing, before I sing a short song for you, let me ask you, how often do any of us get a chance to work on something we care as deeply about as the education of our children, with outstanding people who we form deep and lasting relationships with, and who become such close friends? LFA is a very special place. And now for my song about LFA. I wrote it last night. The music and lyrics are original and are being performed in public tonight for the very first time. Tripled the size of the endowment. But we need to triple it again. Because it's still too small, oh yeah. Money, 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 money. So please empty out your pockets right now. I hope you have a lot of stock certificates with you.
Recipient was going to be the comedian. Thank you so much, Ned. What can I say? Excellent. The second Hall of Fame recipient tonight is Jay Chandrasekhar, class of 1986, and as Mike said, star and director of many movies. Unfortunately, Jay can't be with us tonight, as he has to be on location where he is filming Super Troopers 2. But he, it's Super Troopers 2, to be followed by Super Troopers 3, I believe. But he has prepared a video speech that was made for the students in particular that was prepared for, but I think we will all enjoy it. I'll read his citation and then we'll have his acceptance speech as such. So Jay Chandrasekhar, class of 86. The inaugural recipient of this award in terms of the achievement in the arts. Jay, you embody the characteristics of industriousness, creativity, innovation, and can-do spirit. As a stand-up comic, director, award-winning filmmaker, actor, and co-founder of a comedy group, Broken Lizard, you have achieved success and recognition the world over. From your early years as a Bates boy at the Academy to your college career at Colgate, where your comedic star skyrocketed. You put your powers of observation to work in making the familiar funny. In between laughs, you never stopped learning and challenging yourself to master every element of the film business, from acting and editing to directing and producing. We respect your commitment to hard work and the passion you have demonstrated in turning your dreams into reality. Thank you for tickling our funny bones, touching our hearts, and taking comedy to new levels. We congratulate you on your enormous success and are proud to call you a Caxi. With that, Jay Chandrasekhar.
Hello, my name is Jay Chandrasekhar, and I don't normally have a mustache. I'm an alumni of Lake Forest Academy, and today I am being inducted into the Lake Forest Academy Hall of Fame for the Arts. I was in my first play at Lake Forest when I was a sophomore in high school. And, you know, actually my freshman year I was sort of drifting and I wasn't really able to sort of find my way. And my sister, who was in, she was in chorus in one of the plays, she said, "Why don't you audition for a play?" And I was like, "I don't want to be an actor," you know. And she's like, "Just do it." And so I show up for the audition, and it's like some big musical, and they cast the leads, and then they cast all the chorus people, and I did not even get in the chorus. I mean, you're talking about like 25 parts, no me. They're like, "You? No, you're out. You're not in." So that pissed me off. And the next year when they had auditions, I auditioned again, not because I had this great desire to act, but because I was really pissed off. And so I went in and I auditioned for this play, Brigadoon. And I got a part, and I was in the chorus, and I got one line. And I played a Scottish clansman, and I had a kilt on and everything. And my one line was, "I'll go down to the creek, and by God, if I see him, I'll throw him in it." And it was thrilling. It was thrilling. And after that, I really sort of caught the bug of acting, and I auditioned for every single play there was. I was in musicals. I was Tony in West Side Story. I was in The Importance of Being Earnest. I was in Death of a Salesman. I played Biff. The girl I was dating played my mother. Got into some Oedipal stuff there. That was fun. And while we were at school, my teacher, Carla Sulwald, who was really the person who really encouraged me to act, she told us about this opportunity, which was that we could go be extras in a movie downtown. And so they were calling like there's a fly flying in here. They're calling all the acting classes around the area, and they called ours, and we went down, and we get on the set, and we find out that it's for a film called The Color of Money by Martin Scorsese. And it's starring Tom Cruise and Paul Newman. And I knew Cruise and Newman were, but I didn't know who Scorsese was at the time. But I remember we were in a scene, it's in like a pool tournament, right? And it's in Atlantic City, and they did it in Navy Pier. And so they're like 2,000 extras, and there's a moment in the scene where Paul Newman quits the tournament in the middle, and he walks by a crowd of people. And I'm standing there right in the front row in my blazer, my tie, you know, we had the dress code, right, at LFA. And so I'm standing there in my blazer and tie, and as he walks by, I inexplicably move my blazer from my right arm to my left, and I go, and that made the cut. I did that for 2 straight days. I kept going. And I got in. I'm in the movie. You can look at it, you can pause it. If you pause it for about 5-6 seconds, you'll see me. But I remember watching Tom Cruise and Paul Newman and Martin Scorsese, and they were sitting there like in this little center conversation. They were laughing and cracking jokes, talking about shots, and I'm like, I want to be in that conversation. I want to be in that conversation. And that was the moment, right? That was the moment for me where I said, I'm going to get in that conversation. And I've started a comedy group at Colgate University where I went to school, and with my buddies, and we tried to become the American Monty Python. And we shot a bunch of short films, shot a bunch of short videos, and we learned the craft of filmmaking. And eventually we made a feature film, and now I'm talking to you from the set of Super Troopers 2. And whenever I'm in that, I'm in like Rob Lowe's in the movie, when I'm in a conversation with Rob Lowe and we're cracking jokes and I'm talking about shots, I'm like, I'm in that conversation. So here's what I'll say to you. Put your phones down for a minute, and stop watching other people's videos and make your own videos, right? I mean, this really comes from doing. Like there's so much great stuff on our phones, and what I think is happening is that we're just on them too much, right? And we're not like spending time with our friends. You guys got great friends there. Put your phones away for a little bit, spend some time with each other. I know it sounds dorky, but it's fun. It's fun, you'll enjoy it. And work hard. I know it's cool not to work hard, and I get it. I was there. I used to try, you know, oh yeah, blow off school, right? Don't do that. You read books, right? Because the people who read books are in charge. And the people who don't read books work for the people who read books. That's how it works. Afraid to tell you. So, I just want to say this too. I'm the first member of the Lake Forest Academy Hall of Fame for the Arts. It's lonely in here, okay? Get out there, write some books, make some movies, and come join me. We got a nice lounge. You know, there's like a great fridge stocked with Coke and, you know, lemonade, and some adult beverages for me. And come on in. Come on into the Hall of Fame. I welcome you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for having me. Thanks for putting me in, and good luck.